I think the big thing that, and when I get to like 14 minutes, Corey, can you let me know? Um, I think the biggest thing is for the globe community. I asked a number of questions. I say, what do you think about the 9 million people on this earth every year that die of starvation? 9 million a year die of starvation. What do you think about the 800 million? The 800 million, about a tenth of the world's population, that deal with starvation issues every day. What do you think about the 900,000 in the UK and the USA, which is just 5% of the world's population, that are homeless? 900,000. What do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that perhaps 25 billion with a B could take care of starvation issues and hunger issues in the United States alone? What do you think about that? While Space Force and NASA spends $50 billion a year, 136 million per day, to not explore outer space. So how do you feel about people dying around the world, starving around the world, homeless around the world, when we could easily take care of that, or part of that, with that 50 billion a year that we do not spend to go into outer space? And to me, that's an evil issue. I think that's very evil that we do that. I'm going to take my charger out so it doesn't fall over on me like that. There you go. So that's the main thing that I see. These people that think we go into outer space and promote the outer space religion and a philosophy, it is a religion. They don't care about the 9 million that starve to death every year. They don't care about the 800 million that have hunger issues every year. They don't care about the homeless, because they want to go and explore something that doesn't exist. Here is George Wald, W-A-L-D. He's a Nobel Prize winner and he wrote a book in 1954, The Origin of Life. It comes from Scientific American. And this is what George Wald says, W-A-L-D, you can look this up. When it comes to the origin of life, we have only two possibilities as to how life arose. One is spontaneous generation arising to evolution. The other is a supernatural creative act of God. There is no third possibility. Spontaneous generation was scientifically disproved 100 years ago by Louis Pasteur, Spallanzani, Redi, and others. This leads us scientifically to just one other possible conclusion, that life arose as a supernatural creative act of God, kind of like we talked about in Genesis 1. I will not accept that philosophically, because I do not want to believe in God. Therefore, I choose to believe in that which I know is scientifically impossible. Nobel Prize winner, spontaneous generation arising to evolution. George Wald, Origin of Life, Scientific American, August 1954. You have 4 people, maybe 5 people that are big in your heliocentric, now great attractor, cartoon world. You have Kepler, you have Newton, you have Galileo, and you have Copernicus, and you have Descartes. One of those, Johannes Kepler, said this: I demonstrate by means of philosophy that the earth is round and is inhabited on all sides, that it is insignificantly small and is born through the stars. Wald and Kepler said it's a philosophy that we move around the sun. Andrew Pinsett, a Roman Catholic priest, said this recently. Often young people ask me the following question: how can you be a priest and believe in the Big Bang? To which I am delighted to respond, we invented it. Or more precisely, Father George Lamette invented the theory today that is called the Big Bang, and everybody should know about him, Andrew Pinsett. Everybody should know about that it was invented. If it's invented, the Big Bang is invented, then everything else means absolutely nothing. Albert Einstein, to the question whether or not the motion of the Earth in space can be made perceptible in terrestrial experiments. Terrestrial means on the ground. we have already remarked that all attempts of this nature led to a negative result. Before the theory of relativity was put forward, it was difficult to become reconciled to this negative result. In other words, we were stationary, we were not moving, and maybe perhaps we were special and not just a speck in an ever-expanding universe. Einstein, I have come to believe that the motion of the earth cannot be detected by any optical experiment. In other words, we cannot detect here on earth that we are moving. We cannot detect it. Einstein. Hendrik Lorentz, who is famous for the Lorentz contraction, which we'll talk about maybe during this debate. Lorentz said briefly, everything occurs as if the earth were at rest. Alexander von Humboldt said, I have already known a long time that we do not yet have proof for the system of Copernicus, but I shall not take the risk to be the first one attacking it. You don't talk out against, if you're academia, you don't go against the established mainstream, or you will be censored and you will be fired and you will never be peer reviewed. John Calvin said, John Calvin, along with Martin Luther, took on the Catholic Church, Jesuits, back in the early 1500s. John Calvin said this, we will see some who are so deranged, not only in religion, but who in all things reveal their monstrous nature, that they will say that the sun does not move and that it is the earth that shifts and turns. When we see such minds, we must indeed confess that the devil possessed them and that God sets them before us as mirrors in order to keep us in his fear. Edwin Hubble telescope, supposed to be 335 miles above the earth. It isn't, but it's supposed to be. Edwin Hubble said this, such a condition would imply that we occupy a unique position in the universe. He's talking about Michelson-Morley and the fact that we might be the center of the universe. In a sense, to the ancient conception of a central earth, that we're central, this hypothesis cannot be disproved. In other words, Hubble is saying that he cannot disprove that we're the center of the universe or we're it. He can't disprove it. But it is unwelcome and would only be accepted as a last resort in order to save the phenomena of Copernican theory that we revolve around the sun. Therefore, we disregard this possibility. The unwelcome position of a favored location, the earth, must be avoided at all costs. Such a favored position is intolerable. Therefore, in order to restore homogeneity and to escape the horror of a unique position, it would be a horror if the earth was the center of everything and we were stationary and we were a topographical plane. It would be a horror unique position. Must be compensated by spatial curvature. There seems to be no other escape. In other words, Edwin Hubble telescope, said that we can't accept the earth as the center. We cannot. Fred Hoyle, who first coined the term Big Bang after George Lemaitre did, Hoyle did it in the scientific community. George Lemaitre did it in the religious community. This is Fred Hoyle, coined the term Big Bang. We know that the difference between the heliocentric model, that we're going around the sun, and the geocentric, which we're stationary, is one of relative motion only, and that such a difference has no physical significance. That is the guy who coined Big Bang. Here is a guy, an astrophysicist, last name Singao. You can look it up, Singao. The apparent alignment of the cosmic microwave background is one of particular direction through space is called evil. He's calling people like us who believe that the earth is special evil because it undermines our ideas about the standard cosmological model. The Copernican principle seems to be in jeopardy. The Copernican theory might be in jeopardy. Here's a gentleman by the name of Arthur Otis, O-T-I-S. In an effort to explain the Michelson-Morley experiment, the thought was advanced that the earth might be stationary. Such an idea was not considered seriously, since it would mean, in effect, that our earth occupied an omnipotent position, a special position in the universe, with all the other heavenly bodies paying homage by revolving around it. We can't have this, folks. I'll get to this one other quote maybe during the debates a little bit longer. I don't want to bore you with it. Here's your boy. Here's your boy, Isaac Newton. And he said basically this: it is inconceivable that inanimate brute matter should, without the mediation of something else, which is not material, operate upon and affect other matter without mutual contact. And it must do if gravitation, in the sense of Epicurus, be essential and inherent in it. And this is one reason why I desire you would not ascribe innate gravity to me. This is 1692. He did not want to have gravity assigned to him. Think about that. He wanted nothing to do with it. That gravity should be innate, inherent, and essential to matter, so that one body may act upon another at a distance through a vacuum without the mediation of something else, by and through which their action and force may be conveyed from one to another, is to me so great an absurdity that I believe no man who has in philosophical matters a competent faculty of thinking that. That is your boy Newton. And just think about that. So here is the position of the globe people. Here is the position. Just think about this for a second. They think it's a ball, though they can't measure it. It measures flat. They think the earth spins, though they don't feel it. They think the earth moves around the sun, though they can't measure it. They think water curves around a ball, though they can't see it. They think light curves in the medium of air, though they can't prove it does. They think gravity exists, though they can't explain what it is. They think there's a universe. They think there's a universe, but 95% of it they can't explain. So because they can't explain 95% of the universe, they call it dark matter. They call it dark matter because they can't explain it. 95% of the universe I can't see, so let's just call it dark matter and leave it for another day to explain another day. We're just going to call it dark matter. And so that's what we are working with, folks. And it's really, really amazing that it's very easy to replace gravity. It's very easy to explain refraction, which we might today. And so it's so easy. I gave you the philosophical aspect of some great people that the heliocentric model talks about. I gave you the fact that that people die on this earth and are starving, but we spend $136 million a day to go into outer space. We have the Newton's third law of motion. We have the second law of thermodynamics, and we have the inverse square law of light that says we haven't been to outer space. So here's the fun thing. I just bought this a couple nights ago, 18 bucks at Target. It doesn't say it down here, but it says it on the tag, not for educational purposes. This thing is for propaganda purposes only. It's for propaganda purposes only. This should be for educational purposes, but they tell you on the tag it's not for educational purposes. Why do they do that? It gives them an out. It's for propaganda purposes only. My friends, water, all large bodies of water at rest always find its level. Guess what? Sprite even finds its level. Can you believe that? Coca-Cola even finds its level. Can you believe that? I haven't tested Mountain Dew yet, so I don't know if Mountain Dew curves all around. I don't know. Okay, here's the second law of thermodynamics. Listen closely. Did you hear that? That is gas pressure without a container. We're told that we can go up until we get to outer space, which is 10 to the
1 minute left, John. 1 minute left.
Thank you. That we can go up, but not have to worry about pressure. We're uncontained. You cannot be uncontained. A pressurized system cannot be next to an uncontained system. To a vacuum of outer space. It is the second law of thermodynamics violation. You cannot do this unless you have a containment. We have a containment. We think it's some sort of a dome above us. We're not exactly what it is, but at least we have containment. Their model, the model that I'm going to talk to Dave about, does not claim that they are contained, that they can just go up and up. It's a second law of thermodynamics violation. Last point. We're told from our earliest years that if you're on top of a ball, you're staying upright. If you're in the side of a ball, you're staying upright. If you're on the bottom of a ball, you're staying upright. Why? Because gravity pushes everything not toward the surface, but to the center of the ball. That's called gravity, and that's what we were taught since age 5. Folks, that's a lie. This explains why people in water don't fall off the sides of the spinning ball. Thank you.
Thank you, John.